Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead Daryl Dixon video. So I wanted to talk about the Cure storyline here with Laurent, and I wanted to talk about some comparisons, obviously, to The Last of Us, but I also wanted to focus on the story as well and sort of focus on exactly what is happening here with Daryl, sort of what he has to do, and where the story could go for Carol's return, obviously, in likely the finale, or maybe she'll return in post-credit scene. Like, she'll be there for season 2 for sure, but where does this overall go, and how does it sort of connect to Carol returning, right? And how is she going to be involved in this? So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. And I also just posted episode 2 of the vlog on my Patreon. If you do want to see some vlogs from me, then definitely consider joining the Patreon. I'm posting weekly vlogs there every single Sunday. Yeah, just thought I would shout that out. If you're interested, the link is in the description of this video, but let's actually get into this here. So Daryl Dixon's journey here and his mission in the spinoff show is obviously a lot like The Last of Us, and we'll talk about the comparisons in a second, but we hear one of the nuns in this whatever location. I'm not entirely sure what this place is called yet. I guess we'll learn that here in the premiere, but we hear the quote, "We've been waiting for you. You're the messenger to deliver Laurent. I know you can get him there safely." And there's also a mention later on, like, of something like you need to, or this will bring the revival of humanity or something like that. And so Daryl's overall mission here is to deliver Laurent to a specific location and basically travel across France, I guess, to get there. And when he does get there, it's going to bring on the revival of humanity. And yes, this is very, very Last of Us like. So first of all, before we get into that, in terms of how I actually view this plot, I actually really don't mind it. Like, I do actually like that in general as a plot, and just for like a zombie apocalypse story. I think that's why The Last of Us, the first game, was really great, because it was a very interesting take, and it was just something that was a little different from The Walking Dead, because you can see a lot of inspiration. Like, I'm guessing that The Last of Us was inspired by The Walking Dead. Like, there's no way it wasn't. Like zombies got so big in like 2010, 2011, and continued to get bigger and bigger as the years went on until like what, 2015, 16, 17, somewhere around there. It started to die off a little bit. I feel like right now it's starting to come back a little bit because of obviously The Last of Us TV show. The Walking Dead spinoffs are actually good quality, so people are going to start to like that now. And this story for Daryl Dixon, at least in this first season here, I think works perfectly. And the thing about it is, this might not be the overall story for the Daryl Dixon show, right? Like, season 2 could totally go in a different direction, much like season 1 story of Dead City. That story was focused on Maggie trying to find Herschel, and I doubt season 2 is going to be the same thing, right? It's not going to be like a rescue mission type of thing. It's going to be something that's very, very different. There's no way Maggie and the Marshal and etc. are going to be going to New York City to save Negan. Like, there's no way that's happening, right? So I think this for a story works perfectly well. I've been wanting The Walking Dead to get into something like this. And the thing is, the reason why this makes so much sense, and I don't really like the comparisons to The Last of Us, is because that is something that you would do. Like, if you found somebody that was the cure or that was immune to the Walker virus or to like a zombie virus of some sort, you would want to bring that person to a specific location, because obviously you want the best outcome, and you want to obviously be able to do something that will help humanity or help revive humanity, right? And where I could see this being, or I guess having some legit criticisms here, is if in the end Daryl starts to really, have this like connection with Laurent, and then it's more of like a father-son type thing, and then maybe he doesn't want to bring Laurent to wherever he needs to go, and then, then it becomes very Last of Us like. And that's where I think I could see the criticisms for sure if they did something like that. I mean, that's likely going to happen though. Like, I think a certain part of that will happen. I do think Laurent and Daryl will form a special connection here. I think it will be very much like their father and son. And I think that's going to be one of those things that, like, I don't know, if Daryl finds out that Laurent needs to die in order for this to happen, you know what I mean? That's where you get into some Last of Us stuff. So in that sense, if it does go there, then I do get the criticisms, because yeah, you're going too much into territory that The Last of Us, I mean, you're basically doing that first game, right? Like the first story there. So I get it. Like, I totally get it. I don't see them going there though with that. I really don't. I mean, first of all, we have to sort of believe that Laurent is actually the cure, right? I don't think they're going to do that in this story. I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that just believes that The Walking Dead's never really going to give us a cure or any sort of hint of a cure, or you know what I mean? Like, I think we'll see characters trying to find the cure and whatnot, but I think that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think we're gonna get anything more than that. So I think where this is gonna go is Laurent eventually just finding out that he's not the cure, and that's basically that's the end of that, right? Nicotero did say something pretty recently, actually, that he mentioned something about The Last of Us and like Station 11, and that it proved that there was like stories left to tell in the zombie apocalypse, right? And I do agree with that. There's a lot of stories that you can tell. People do like that story. Like people love that sort of vibe and that tone to a show, and specifically that genre. It's just that I think The Walking Dead just hasn't really, I don't want to say that they never did it right in the last couple of years, because they have. It's just that it got so, like, it really is more of just what it was. It was just the cast got too big and the story followed the comic and things just went in a different direction. Never really felt like an apocalyptic story anymore, right? Like now I think it does. Like if you look at Dead City, that definitely feels like an apocalyptic story. It feels like characters that are just trying to survive basically, and they're part of these like communities that are sort of, I guess, kind of safe, and then they go into New York City that, you know, has a bunch of different zombies, and like it feels very apocalyptic. There's a lot of drama there, human drama obviously, but the apocalypse and just the fact that they're trying to survive in this world, you feel it. Like you actually do feel it. Like the problems that they have are ingrained in the zombie story. And that's what I really like about Dead City. And the Daryl Dixon show seems to also be revolved around that same exact plot, right? Or that same exact zombie story. They're trying to find a cure. Their lives have just been thrown into chaos. There's all of this happening. And yeah, I could see the story obviously ingrained in the zombie story there as well. And it's a very natural place to go for The Walking Dead at this point, right? Like, and also it's just a spinoff. Like it's a spinoff and it's one story. Again, if it ends with Laurent like being saved by Daryl or something like that, and it ends exactly like The Last of Us, then yeah, I totally get it. But I really don't think it's going there. I mean, if you just look at the fact that it has a season 2, Carol's there, right? And I mean, the fact that Carol's there, like, I think that also kind of tells me that whatever mission that Daryl's on obviously sort of fails in some sense. But again, there could be other things there. Like, the writing here is definitely going to be a lot smarter than what we're thinking. You know, if you look at Dead City, the actual reveal of Maggie making the deal with the Croat, I thought was done pretty well. And I think that's why the story with Daryl Dixon is going to be something that we're not expecting. It's going to be something where maybe, you know, just the mission he's on, like it's going to be wrong probably for like different reasons than The Last of Us, right? It'll be something like maybe the place that Daryl is bringing Laurent to is just not a great place to be, and there's like this other evil purpose there, right? Like maybe there's something that they're doing where it's almost enhancing the Walker virus, right? And maybe that's what he learns, and so it's a little different. I could see that. Like I could see, you know, stuff like that happening, and I think that's fine, you know, but I guess you do also have to question just the villains on this show as well. Like what are their connections to the story here? Do they have connections to the new Walker variants? You know, maybe they don't want the revival of humanity, and so that's why they want Daryl dead. Because you do gotta wonder, like, why are they after Daryl, right? Like, it's such a weird thing just to be after someone specifically. Like, again, there is something there. They probably know a lot more of just like what is happening. What if it's one of those things where they end up being the good guys and it's sort of a story like that? I mean, I don't know. They can go in different directions here, but I don't think they're going to succeed no matter what. Like, if I'm giving a prediction here, I don't think Daryl's going to succeed with his mission, and I don't know what that means for Laurent. I don't know if that means like he isn't immune. Again, it could be one of those things where he's just not immune, or he's not the cure, right? Or maybe he dies or something. I don't know. But the story somehow is going to change, obviously, by the finale, because Carol's going to be there, and then we'll just kind of see where they go for season 2. Like, I like the premise of, you know, he goes to France and he just randomly comes across this place, and then they're like, oh, you're the messenger. You can deliver Laurent to this location, and this will start the revival of humanity. And there's obviously some specifics that we're sort of missing here, right? In terms of just like, where is he bringing him? Does Daryl really believe it? Why does Daryl decide to actually go through with this? So there's a lot of little things like that. Maybe Daryl finds something, or maybe he learns that, oh, there's actually some legitimacy to this. Maybe he is actually the cure, right? So, or I guess it could also be like, you know, if you help us, we'll give you a boat or something, or you can go on this ship and go back to America kind of thing. Like, we'll help you get back to America. So maybe that's why he helps. And you know what? That honestly makes a lot more sense, because I don't think Daryl's one of those people that is just sort of a skeptic. Like, he really wants to make sure what he's doing is legit. Like, he questions every single thing. I mean, actually every single character on The Walking Dead at this point now is a skeptic. Like, early on, some people were, but at this point now, everyone is. Like, they're all way too smart to just believe anything that anyone says. I mean, we just learned that in Dead City, right? Maggie was suspicious of the group the entire time, and then, of course, we learned that Tommaso made this sort of deal with the Croat, and yeah, but I just think the show looks really great. I think the show just looks very phenomenal. I'm really excited to see this first episode here, which is premiering in like 40 something days from now. It's gonna fly by. It always flies by. Like, I've always said this, I've said this for years. whenever we hit the 50-day mark, it's like literally, it feels like it's 3 weeks away, because we won't be paying attention to it right now. We're just going to be like talking about whenever teasers come out, you know, for like the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden at that point, the show's premiering in like a couple of weeks. And then just that build right there is just, it flies by so fast. So anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below on the Cure storyline, and also just on the comparisons to The Last of Us. Do you think it's fine, or do you wish that they would have went somewhere else with the story? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.